It is 3 minutes. It is 3 minutes past the time we said we would start. We really should start.
Yeah. Hi guys.
Okay.
There's our intro.
No. We can do better.
Well, hello everyone. It's ANY and Keyframe, where we can do a podcast about anything but come up with a name.
Blah.
We don't have a name for this podcast. Welcome to the Nameless Podcast.
You can do this. I will take over now. Hello there, this is ANY, and welcome to the world premiere, the very first episode of the podcast of me and Key. Say hello, Key.
Hello, Key.
You are great. I am glad to have you here.
I'm to be here.
True story. Welcome to the show. We basically try this for the first time. We both have our own share of podcast experiences, but at some point we were like, hey, let's do this. And it took
basically the whole idea from this was because we've had Skype calls that go on, and when we finished the conversations, we're just like, God, why don't we record these?
Yeah, and now we try to actually create this experience for you guys at home to listen to, because there will be no images. Unless we at some point decide to turn this into a video podcast. But for now, listen to our beautiful voices talking about what we have done this week, about media we experienced recently, and share it. And with media, we mean like everything, like a movie, a show, a game, a book. Well, I guess a single comic would be, one strip comic would be a little bit like but if it is, for example, an ongoing web comic we discovered, or once again, a single image would probably not be so much to talk about, or it would easily turn into something very technical. So, but yeah, any kind of media we can actually talk about, and that touched us one way or another, so it might not always be positive. And a little bird whispered me that, or told me, whatever the phrase in English is, that your topic this week in the media section might not be the most.
Oh boy! You will know when we get to that section. But first things first.
Ooh, building up all this attention and stuff. Oh yeah, and at the very end of the show, after those two main segments, we also want to have a little bit of a Q&A. We will probably answer, like, depending on how far we are in time, like 2 or 3, maybe more. We'll see how the time is. Questions from you guys.
Play by ear. Play by ear.
Yeah, pretty much.
Say that.
But to actually get the content starting, Key, how was your week?
Oh boy. Okay. So the big thing that's been happening to me this week is last Thursday. My tablet pen broke because Golden Fox stepped on the pen.
Really? With name dropping? You could have just said it broke or something, but oh my god. This is like public blaming here.
I mean, shame.
Shame.
Ding, ding, ding.
And I already see when
everyone, when they see this video on YouTube and stuff, just go to Golden Fox's Twitter and just type in shame. Nothing else, just shame.
You are his girlfriend, so when you pull this kind of crap, I'm like, okay, fine. You can do this. You act
like I only pull this crap on Golden. May I remind you the one time me and Crab Prince had like 60 people to comment on one of your videos with just third mistake.
And I found, 5 minutes later I was in your live stream, so.
Good point. But anyway, so yeah, my tablet pen broke, and it broke in the way that I would go on drawing things, and it would think that I would be still holding down the pen even though I'm not. So ooh. I couldn't even like click on things on like web browsers and stuff because it would just start highlighting stuff. So I was like, okay, I'll just order a new pen, and I ordered 2 so I could have a backup, and I paid extra for expedite shipping. It's been a week and I haven't gotten anything. And I actually went to track the package, and it just got shipped out of the warehouse. And I'm like, oh my God, what? I am not, I have words that I can't say in front of a general audience as my opinion of this website. Because I could have gotten it off Amazon, but on Amazon, my tablet pen is like $16, and then you have to add, the express shipping on top of it. This place was like, $8, and then you would get 2. So it would be like 2 for the price of 1 on Amazon. But at this point, I'm like, I haven't been able to work for a week, and I'm getting stir crazy.
Basically living through the punishment, the fictional punishment that Dr. Wolf gave you in this one video, like sending you to a tropical island where you can't do digital art.
I know, it's been so hard. And I mean, like, it's hard also because I do everything with a tablet pen. So having my hand in the way to hold a mouse for an extended period of time actually feels really uncomfortable because, one has your hand lying flat, the other one has it like you're holding a pen. So it's different. But like at this point, like later today, I'm just going to go on Amazon and order 1-day shipping. I'm like, I am so done. So, I have work to do, and I need my pen.
So basically, at the end of it, you will have 2 backup pens.
Yes, and you know what? It's good to have a backup and never need it than not having one and needing it. So
and I guess two backups are probably a good idea in case that Will, your flatmate, ever restarts step dance lessons. So good way of having so many.
Him and Golden decide to take up River Stomp.
Yeah, for example. Now we know how the first pen broke.
But yeah, so that's basically been my week. I mean, I've still been drawing, but it's like sketchbook, pencil, and paper. Like
boo. What are you? An 18th century artist or something? Boo.
I mean, when I mean stir crazy, I've pinned the drawings up to my wall, which sounds a lot worse than it actually is, because the ones I pinned up to my wall are like Abby and Theo stuff. Like I have thumbnails for ideas, and then I have the actual storyboards for the show.
Basically, when somebody enters your room now, they will discover a back and forth rocketing key in the middle of the room with her sketchbook, like sketching, and all the walls are covered in scribbles of weird shows about ghosts and nerds, and
I mean,
like in a horror movie, basically.
I had Katie, Will's girlfriend, walk into my room
to bring you food. Or what?
No, and she was just walking in to ask a question, and I was hanging up stuff, and it was a bunch of expressions of Theo and Abby really angry and yelling stuff, and she just kind of looked up at it, and I looked over at her, and I'm like very tired and done, and she just kind of puts the thing that she had for me down and backs out of the room and slowly closes the door.
The poor girl, she will never be the same.
I mean, one picture was half the page taken up by Theo yelling, "You're a ghost," in like really sloppy handwriting.
Oh
so you know what? I would be terrified too if I just saw someone pinning up angry characters on the wall.
I can already picture Katie in my mind, like sitting there, her head in Will's lap, and he's just petting her like, it's fine, and she's like, I'm a ghost.
But yeah, that's been. I mean, at least there's productivity on the production of the show, so I guess that's the plus side of all this. But
hooray!
Yeah, that. Also meaning that I have, the worst part is that you have to, because I've decided to make the show storyboard driven, so I draw the storyboards before I make the script, or they work in conjunction with each other.
Shameless plug force own project, by the way.
You have to record it all over again.
Why am I not surprised? I mean, how many time have I recorded my line for the first episode of...
Look, buddy.
Oh, this was your cue to shameless self-advertise.
Look.
Tell people what it is and where they find it now.
Okay, I mean, if you want to see production stuff, for one thing, you can just follow my social medias. But there's also a Tumblr called Ask Abby and Theo, and I usually put the stuff up there first.
You know, for a person who is good at networking, you are bad at marketing.
Well, I mean, it's not at the show's not at that point where I can really, advertise stuff for it yet. It's still in pre-production, so. Point being, yeah. But once I get to the point where I'm like, yeah, I can advertise this stuff, I'll be like, hey.
I put a link to the Tumblr in the description anyways.
Thank you, sweetheart. But yeah, that was Key's week. How about yours?
Oh, my week. Work. No, actually, I had a nice trip over the weekend. It was last week on, was it also Thursday? When was the 4th? Thursday. Oh my God, a lot of stuff happened last.
Yeah, you got to go on a nice holiday, and I got my tablet.
I mean, it's like Star Wars Day. Your little lightsaber got broken, and my dad turned 70. So, wow, stuff happening.
Did he became Obi-Wan or whatever?
Yeah, pretty much. So I went visiting the old Jedi Master, the Obi Papa Kenobi, and yeah. So over the weekend we basically had a family trip to one of those resorts, those little thingies where you live in a tiny bungalow, and there's a center in the middle with a swimming pool and toy place to sandbox and stuff, playground.
A holiday.
Yes, a little holiday resort, and we basically went there with a close family, meaning my parents, obviously, my siblings, my in-laws, and then my nieces and nephews. So altogether we were 13 people. And
what a great number.
Oh, well, if you count the kids as half, or if you add the dogs, because we had also 4 dogs with us.
You guys got to bring dogs to a resort? I want to go to this resort.
Well, we obviously booked bungalows that allowed dogs. So my parents had their dog, my sister had their dog, and my other sister and her husband had their 2 dogs. Then my 2 nieces, then my 3 nephews, and now you have all the people that have been there. So yeah, we had Uncle A and Y being chased around by a little 3-year-old girl in the swimming pool area. To the what is this slide? Come on, one more the slide. Okay, we do the slide once more.
Oh, that's adorable.
Oh, and it was very depressing. I remember the days when I was the clearly superior one to my nephews. I was taller, I was quicker, I was stronger. I would say I'm still stronger than each of them. But now there were in the pool there were those floating mats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're like a little bit tinier than a mattress, but still floating mats, like big thingies, nearly as big as a person.
The thing that BoJack lies on in the opening of the show.
No, not one that you blow up, but out of this floating material, this hard material.
Like foam.
Yeah, this foam mats, and so I tried to stand on one of them, and I barely ever got even up out of the kneeling position without falling over. No balance, whatever. I mean, I did Taekwondo for crying out loud. I was jumping around and standing on one foot and kicking everywhere. So I had a good balance, and I believed I still had. But yeah, I tried to stand on this thing, falling over.
I mean, what do you think is going to happen when you're in water? It's a completely different beat.
But here's the thing. Later, when there were the wave machine going on. So there were big waves, and then I looked to the pool and see my nephew standing on it like, yeah, and I was like, no, I used to be the superior one. What is happening? My nephew's catching up to me, and even worse, later there's this fantastic card game called Set, where you have a bunch of cards lying out, and you have to find connected ones, and you have to be like set, and then points them out, and then you won a set, and you keep them, and it's about seeing recognizing connections and being quick about it.
Mm-hmm.
And usually I am like the one nobody wants to play this game with because I literally have to basically stand up and walk around the table in order to give the others a fair chance. I
Uh-huh.
got beat by my nephew.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. But we
See,
currently we are more or less on the same level. So I won one round, he won the next one, so yeah. But yeah.
see, see, the problem is, for one thing, I don't technically have nieces and nephews. I mean, I count my youngest cousins as my nieces and nephews because heaven knows my sisters ain't gonna tell me whenever they have children, if ever. But like, with like my cousins and everything, I've never been on an even playing field because they're all older than me. But I'm always above them when it comes to two things: gambling, like gambling games, and mind games. Everything else they whoop my ass in because like I remember anytime there was like a graduation or like some kind of thing where the family gets together kind of thing. We didn't have resorts, but because my uncle was in the army, there's a naval base in Indiana that has like an entire camping area, and they would get a cabin that's by the lake, and everyone would go there. I hated it. I hate being in the woods. But point being, we were playing poker, and my family just has the worst poker faces, I swear. And I was able to gamble out my cousins out of like $100.
How old are they again?
They're like in their my two boy cousins, their ages range from 20 to I think 27, 28.
Okay, because earlier you started this anecdote with I think of my youngest cousins as my nieces
Well,
and
okay,
nephews, and then
also the thing,
this segment with you being like,
okay,
well,
fine.
I took $100 from my cousins. Like, wait, how old are you? You count them as nieces and nephews? You're ripping off small
First of all,
children?
well, you know what? I would still do that, but my point being, when it comes to this, I'm in your nephew's spot where I'm the younger one starting to get the above thing on them. And the sad thing is that even though I could defeat them in mind games, they still beat me in things of strength because we went out on a boat into the lake and they threw me in the middle of the lake. And I'm like, they threw me in the middle of the lake and took my money. And I'm like, thanks, I really enjoy this family time, you know?
They took your money?
Well, yeah, because I mean, we're on the boat, so I'm not going to have my money in my pocket. So I had it in my purse, and then they threw me in the lake, and
So
they took
your
my money out of
cousins
the
stole your
purse.
money.
Yeah.
This anecdote turned from a fun
Oh,
one
no,
into a
don't
rather
worry.
dark one.
Don't worry, I was able to get it back. This is
Okay.
a great story. No, this is a great story because there's another game that my family loves to play, and it's called Left, Right, Center, and it's a dice game where basically you have these dice that has an L, an R, a dot, or a C. And basically you roll it, and if you have an left, you have to give money to the person on your left. Right, the dot means you're safe, and center means you put it into the pot, and whoever still has money at the end of it wins all the cash, you know? And I'm actually really good at this game. Even though it's a game of chance, I have some kind of leprechaun luck with this game. And I was able to make all my money back and then some because my uncle decided to join in, and he was the first one to lose. But I taught my littlest cousins how to play Left, Right, Center, and also how to play poker. So when I moved away, they became the young ones that are able to gamble out my older cousins, which I think is very fitting.
I am honestly very thankful for sharing this anecdote because now I don't feel as much as a bad and horrible uncle as I did before this talk. Thank you very much for this. So let's move
You're
on.
welcome.
Let's move on to the next one. Media. What is the piece of media you consumed recently you want to share with everybody? I've heard you
No,
loved
how
it.
about you start? You start
Okay.
first.
Okay, we keep the tension high that everybody can wait for raging lunatic Chrissy.
I started the week segment, so you start the media segment.
It's a fair enough point. It's a fair enough point. Media. It's a little bit not last weekish, but the week before, because it was actually what spawned the idea for this segment. So I stick to it, and I will still talk about it if you want not.
Is it the
Come
movie
on,
that you
come
and your
on.
friend went to go see?
Yes. What was it? Come on, you can do it. Come on. Come on.
Is it I Am Groot the movie?
Yeah, it's it is actually I Am Groot the movie. I saw Guardians of the Galaxy 2 in IMAX and in English, thank goodness, which is not as easy in Germany as you would think. The big blockbusters usually get their 2 weeks in the IMAX, but there's only one movie playing, so if there are 2 big blockbusters only a week apart or too many, some of them will not make it. But thankfully, Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2 was in it, and I missed so many MCU movies in cinemas that I'm really, really happy that I caught this one. Amazing fan of Guardians of the Galaxy 1. However, that's a good thing. I'm always cautiously optimistic at best. Usually I'm rather on the pessimistic side of things. So I was not, because some people probably went into it. The critiques have not been the best. And I assume that many people went into it waiting for a second coming of the first one. And I have to say, my personal opinion, it was objectively worse. I mean, it was still a good movie. A really bad movie in the MCU does not really exist. I mean, we had mad movies like Iron Man 2, and I believe some others were also not that interesting.
Thor 2 was bad.
Thor 2? Wait, this was the one with the elves, right?
Yes.
Was it? I watched it. I just rewatched it because I believe it came on German Netflix. And usually I'm like, oh, something comes on the German Netflix. I'm so desperate. I watch anything you give me.
I mean, and also any of the Marvel movies before the first Iron Man. So the Amazing Hulk.
But the first Iron Man was the official first movie of the MCU.
Well, I mean, they count the Amazing Hulk in the MCU too, in Phase 1. So, and that movie wasn't really that good.
But it was after Iron Man. Anyways, so Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It was still, especially for a cinema experience, good, because it was big, it has space battles. By the way, spoiler free, obviously. I mean, it's a show with me. Don't expect spoilers. At least not for something that you might want to watch, because Key will probably explain the exception to the spoiler rule when it's her turn.
Yeah. But keep going about Guardians.
Indeed. So, and big visuals, great CGI, the visuals, the atmosphere was there, absolutely. So I can still recommend it as a cinema experience. But here's the thing, without going into actual spoilers about the plot, what they did wrong about it. Because what they did, I have the feeling, was look at the first movie, be like, okay, what did the people like about Guardians of the Galaxy?
It was funny.
Oh yeah, it was funny and stuff like this, and they were picking fan favorite elements from the first movie I loved myself, and we're like, okay, people liked when at the end of the first movie, not really spoiler, but you know the scene what I'm talking about, when they crash the small spaceship into the big spaceship, and Drax is sitting on the back seat, and he has been, throughout the entire movie, he has been this very serious, grumpy character. I want to kill people. I'm so angry. My family is dead. And then suddenly, from 90 minutes of this, you suddenly have him sitting there in the backseat in the crashing ship, like, let's do this again. And They took this scene of him, which was amazing given the context, given the big contrast to his usual behavior, and turned this into his default behavior throughout the entire second movie. So after the third time he started loud laughing, it was like, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you do understand that it worked better in contrast, right? And then
I mean,
we
that's
have
the whole setup of comedy. I mean, like, example, it's like with when Garnet, in Steven Universe, Garnet's always the very stoic character. So when she does something or says something that's awkward or silly or something, it's funny because that's not expected out of her character. But if she's always doing that, then it's not funny anymore.
Yeah, and it also has a bigger impact, keeping it rare, keeping the jewels rare, because if you have a million of those gems, then it's just one in a million, literally. And they did this with other things, like Groot, obviously a character everybody loved. Then they have Baby Groot. And Baby Groot is, I will admit it, it's cute. It's cute as hell, with his little stubby legs, with Baby Groot punching people all the time, but not having any impact at all. It's cute. The design is to the point. Perfect. Perfect.
Disgustingly adorable.
Yes, disgustingly adorable. I have no problem admitting this. This is a marketing move done right, or a character design done right.
It's a Disney move, that's what it is.
And once again, this might be the tiniest spoiler you ever get out of me, but in the beginning of the movie, there is a fight going on. I mean, it's an action comedy, so there's a lot of fighting going on, so the spoiler should be...
this was probably the fight that you kind of saw a bit of in the trailer, so...
Yeah, so the thing is, the opening credits basically take place during a fight, but the camera is the entire time on little dancing Groot, and you see this epic battle against a giant space monster, blurry, happening in the background. And you only see other characters when they basically get thrown to crash into the floor next to Baby Groot, and then they are sharp in the camera and they're like, Baby Groot, be careful! And yes, the idea to basically push the entire epic battle into the background was a great idea. I mean, I have seen it before, but it was executed very great there.
It's a very Mel Brooksy kind of move.
Yeah, with Baby Groot just doing the dance moves, and I was like, yes, this was done great. And then they did the same thing as they did with Drax. They kept the camera on Baby Groot throughout the entire movie. Baby Groot was like, whenever there was a possibility to show Baby Groot in close-up, they did it. They spent minutes of following the misadventures of Baby Groot. And with the same thing, I love Baby Groot, but they overdid it. They overplayed it. They turned Baby Groot into something not special because it was just there all the time. So you see this is kind of an ongoing symptom with the movie, taking great stuff and just spreading it too thin by spreading it over too much space. And then last big complaint is that the story itself, the main plot, was not as... I mean, I will not pretend that the plots, the storylines of any MCU movies are epic writing, great poetry or whatever. They are all popcorn kino. They are all more or less well done. Some have pacing issues like Iron Man 2. Others are very straightforward and give you a very satisfying experience. This one felt all over the place. The main plot felt like, pacing wise, very, very slow and it dragged on. But there have also been side plots which actually were better and superior. Go watch it, so I will not go into details here. But yeah, I love those side plots a lot, and those big character development happening in those side plots. But the overall pacing and continuity of the movie suffered a little bit under it. So, final fazit, still a great movie. Still one I would recommend. Visually fantastic, so it's even cinema material, but clearly inferior to the original, to the first one. But yeah, once again, there is barely any really bad movies in the MCU, so If we take Batman vs Superman as a standard, yes, everything in the MCU is good.
I mean, who knows? Maybe the Wonder Woman movie will finally bring the DCU something.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I will watch it. I will
The marketing.
probably.
I mean, like, they haven't had a lot of trailers for the Wonder Woman movie, but the trailers that they've had look really damn good.
And I'm comic book fan enough that I will probably watch, hopefully, all DCU or as many as possible DCU movies in cinema, no matter how they turn out. I mean, I saw Batman vs Superman in IMAX, and I don't regret it. Because I did go in there with no expectations, and I was like, is this a bad movie? I'm having a great time. Where's popcorn? I was sober.
I wish I lived near you. Because every time that I'm like, let's go to the theaters to go see a bad movie. Will and Brett are like, why would you want to do that? I'm like, because if you're going to go see a bad movie, might as well be in a comfy place eating popcorn while you're doing it.
Fair enough. But yeah, enough from me, because we have already the half-hour mark and we still have stuff to do. So tell us about your piece of media.
Okay.
Drum roll. Today, Keyframe is introducing.
Okay, so there's a movie, and I'm going to spoil this. For one thing, the movie I think was released in like 2009, 2010, like early 2010s, if not late 2000s, called Rock of Ages. Oh my god, I hate this movie. Now keep in mind, I'm not talking about the play, because the play and the movie are two separate entities at this point, because they changed the plot for the movie so much so it can be, movie material with that.
Going just by the name, it sounds like something that would have Jack Black in it.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
The movie probably would be better if it did. But,
like every movie is.
Yeah, every movie's better.
Jack Black is one of the characters you can put in any movie, and it always turns the movie better.
Yeah, that's true. But okay, so Rock of Ages is a jukebox musical set in like the hair metal era of the 80s. So like everyone has the big hair, everyone loves that hard rock and roll and stuff. And it's around that time where, people were like, oh, rock is starting to become dead because, the 90s are on its way and all that stuff. And it's about, the thing is, they have like 15 characters in this. You have these
One of them is Catherine Zeta-Jones.
She's the best character in this movie.
What? Not Alec Baldwin?
Okay. Alec Baldwin, Russell Brand, Tom Cruise, and Catherine Zeta-Jones. All great. However, we don't focus on them a lot when you actually watch the movie. No, we're focused on these two little teeny boppers that are like the main focus of the movie, while we have all these much more funny side characters get just, having their own tiny plots, because you have Russell Brand and Alec Baldwin, which are these two club owners that are gay for each other. You have Tom Cruise as like this Axl Rose rock star crazy person. Catherine Zeta-Jones is like this. She used to be like a groupie, but now she's like this wife of the mayor trying to kill rock and roll and all this stuff.
Okay.
You have Paul Giamatti as like this manager guy who takes the guy teeny bopper and makes him a pop star. You have some actually good ideas, like that could be like a funny self-aware movie, but it's written so badly. Like every cliche in the book is just played straight. And the problem is, I would hate this movie if the soundtrack wasn't fantastic. Because it's the 80s, arguably one of the best eras of music. Because the movie starts out with like this mashup of Don't Want Nothing But a Good Time and Sister Christian. You have like I Love Rock and Roll and Jukebox Hero. You have rock and roll. You have Catherine Zeta-Jones doing Hit Me With Your Best Shot. You have Wanted Dead or you have all these different genres of music. You have like Any Way You Want It, sung and choreographed in a strip club. It's like it's like this soundtrack would be great, and these are some good ideas for music videos. But God, the movie surrounding it is so terrible. Because and the one thing though, every person in this movie can sing really well, except for the main girl. And it's not that she can't.
Always good.
Here's the thing. It's not that she can't sing. But, okay, the 80s has a very specific... 80s and rock music has a very specific sound to it. Like, and most of the singers, Russell Brand, Mary K. Blige, Catherine Zeta-Jones, they can fit that era of music. This girl has, like, this very modern poppy voice that doesn't work with the music. So it's like you have Tom Cruise going, wanted, dead or alive. And then she's like, I still try. It's like, what the, get out of here. You're ruining the songs. And I don't want to be mean, because I'm sure she's a good actress, but this movie was not the thing to show it. And I think she was also in that movie Mamma Mia, so she doesn't have a good record with picking musicals. But yeah, God, I remember I was sitting watching this movie, and I felt myself kind of sinking into the chair once the songs end. And I'm like, okay, I'm about to turn it on. And then another song comes on, and I'm like, well, now I can't. And, I mean, and the problem is that it didn't have, besides the music, it didn't have anything to really laugh at. It wasn't like when we watched Strange Magic, and we could at least make
another
fun of
fantastic
it.
jukebox movie.
Oh, yeah, at least, like, you know, there wasn't... I mean, at least this movie had a theme with its music.
Honey pie! No, wait, it was... What?
Sugar dumpling, honey pie, punch. But, like... but every time that we just got it... And the movie was also edited really weirdly. Like, there would be moments where it's shot really well. Like, the best shot scene in the movie is the main girl who goes to a strip club as a waitress, and the owner of the strip club, played by Mary K. Blige, she's like, oh, if you want respect and attention, you have to be on the pole. And they start the musical number of Any Way You Want It. And it's shot really well with all the strip dancers being in unison and choreographed really well, and it was shot really good. And then you have, like, other scenes that are constantly on one shot. Like, the Catherine Zeta-Jones big number. It's all just two shots, but it's in the same direction. One is just a zoom in, and then the other is a wide shot zoom out. And it's like... Why make this so boring?
So basically, Adam Shankman, the director, probably tried to build up a big resume of different types of movie making with one movie, so he can show it off to other people.
Here's my demo reel for music videos.
Like, you see, I can do this one-shot thing, but I also can do the actually good one with choreography. So you see, I can do both.
And there was literally a scene where you have the Catherine Zeta-Jones's crew of, you know, shut down the club, we hate rock and roll, and Russell Brand's like, we built this city on rock and roll scene. And they're singing to each other, and they're all just standing in the same place, and half the shot is just the reporter running from end to end while the characters are singing, which doesn't work when the characters are in unison. And I get that's the joke, but God, this was so uninteresting to watch until Tom Cruise just comes in on his motorcycle. And it's like, I never thought I would say Tom Cruise coming in on his motorcycle was the most interesting thing in this movie.
Ooh.
But, like, I can't...
I mean, this was basically the build-up in Top Gun. Him driving a little bit of motorcycle before he got into the plane. And here it's the highlight?
Yeah. Here's the thing. The most shocking part about this movie is the fact that Tom Cruise is actually a really good singer. Huh.
Well, no, then again, rock music is often enough very easy to sing. I recall myself having SingStar, like SingStar Pop, SingStar Rock, and With the pop singer, I did okay. I got my 8,000 for each song, but with the pop songs, without practice, with the rock songs, without practicing any of them, I had every single rock song, at least the ones I knew, on this DVD on over 9,000 on the first try. So
Yeah, but I mean, the big thing is like his character is a rock star, so he has to be the best. He had to be objectively the best singer out of the entire crew, and he was. And he's never done a musical before or done singing, so that was the most shocking part to hear him. And it's like, it sounds like Guns N' Roses, like actual rock singer from that era kind of thing. I'm like, well, not that. It wasn't thrashy. But yeah, I mean, I honestly prefer his Here's the thing: the soundtrack is really good, because in that soundtrack they have "Pour Some Sugar on Me" from Def Leppard and "Hit Me with Your Best Shot" by Pat Benatar, but sung by Tom Cruise and Catherine Zeta-Jones. I honestly prefer the versions from this movie to the original versions.
Fun fact. So that I know the feeling from Shrek 2. I love Vivian the Viva Loca by Eddie Murphy and Antonio Banderas far more than the original, and Holding Out for a Hero. I don't know who the actual singer is.
The Fairy Godmother.
Yeah, but the actual singer is somebody else. But yeah, the Fairy Godmother character. I love those two versions better than the original as well. Even so, the Holding Out for a Hero is stretched a little bit for the action scenes and the talking in the middle, which is kind of a down factor of it. But sorry, continue.
But no, see, the point being is like, I feel so mixed, being like, oh, listen to this movie's soundtrack. Don't go see the movie. It's like, because it's like, it's very rare that you find something that does good covers of that era of music anymore. So it's like, I would encourage that. I would encourage to watch the musical numbers themselves, like those clips.
There is probably somewhere a version out there, like Rock of Ages. Rock of Ages movie songs only. Check this out.
Rock of Ages without the talking.
Check this out for the superior experience.
I mean, you know what? I would honestly prefer that.
But but still, final conclusion. Who would you say is to blame more? Adam Shankman, the director, or the three writers?
There were three writers.
There were three writers, and the fourth one. The fourth one is the same one as the second one. There's a fourth one for just musical book, but there are three writers for screenplay. Justin Serox, Chris D'Arienzo, and Alan Loeb.
You know what? I think it's a joint effort there. You gotta be four kinds of terrible to do that script with three writers. But yeah, that was my final thoughts. Rock of Ages. Go listen to the soundtrack. Don't watch the movie.
This is one recommendation. Okay, and we promised people to have a little bit of a Q&A part at the end, and we already have the 3/4 hour mark, so we need to make it really snappy.
We could just go for an hour even. I mean, people watched our Let's Plays that went long, so I think people just enjoy us.
Fair enough, but nevertheless, we should probably not slag off too much.
We won't slag off. Jeez.
So, just for future, first of all, people who are watching live, you can also add a few more questions right directly to us with the hashtag
Any Key Questions.
Hashtag Any Key Questions. Also for future reference, you can send on Twitter just questions at me, at her, at both of us with the hashtag Any Key Questions, and we'll probably check them occasionally, and especially before the next show, which hopefully will be next Thursday.
We'll save them throughout the week.
Indeed. We will collect them throughout the week, pick our favorites, and then ask them. But yeah.
I guess we start with what we actually have in the document. So.
Indeed. I want to start with Hoshina Rima, who was basically one of the very few people who left me questions on my announced video on YouTube. Yeah, with one of she, Hoshina,
Them.
left a bunch of connected questions, but try to keep it snappy. How did you two meet? It's your
Um,
story mostly, so.
okay, basically, there was a podcast. There was this live stream that I was doing to raise money for someone at school, and I interviewed a bunch of people, and it kind of went to hell. And ANY was in the chat for all 3 days, just trolling me. But it was a pleasant troll, and so we had each other in our contact list, and I messaged him being like, "Hey, do you want a title card artist?" And he was like, "Hey, do you want to do a call?" We did a call for like 6 hours, and the rest is history.
Okay, this was snappy. I believe I don't have a lot of stuff to add. It was really like a complete stranger sending me a PM like, "Hey, I want to be in this charity podcast or a live stream," and I was like, "Sure." Only later I found out that first of all, I was a follow up to Silver Quill. So always a tough point to follow into after Silver. And I also later learned that on the next day there was actually Paul from back then Channel Awesome, the music guy. And I was like,
Yeah,
you got
there.
Paul? How did you get Paul? I mean, okay, the thing is, Paul, I liked him, I watched his show, but I would probably have died if you had like Jesse Cox for the second day or something and I missed it.
Yeah, well, if only I could go back in time, I would have tried.
Time to do another charity, I guess.
I mean, I could. I could. But yeah, so basically it was just that simple thing. And for some weird reason, we just connected really well and we just didn't stop talking.
What is this? What was it again? Don't stop talking and nobody dies? This game?
Yeah, that's the name of the game.
Yeah, also a very fun looking game. Even so, I have to say, I recall seeing the original one with Jesse Cox and Total Biscuit, and I recall throwing myself away laughing. Then Total Biscuit did another stream recently with another person, like I forgot his name. Sorry about that. And I don't know, those two didn't have the same chemistry and dynamic. So
I mean, TB and Jesse just have kind of a lightning in a bottle kind of relationship when it comes to this. I mean, that's the only reason someone would watch, the 85 parts of Terraria that they played?
Oh, they have an amazing... Yeah, the Terraria is amazing.
Go to TB... Just saying to people before we move on to the next Hoshina question. If you want to watch TB and Jesse play Terraria, go to TB's channel because Jesse's playlist is annoying. We discovered that firsthand when we were like, let's just put some on. And then we saw Jesse's and it's like, why is half of them missing?
Next question. You want to ask the next question?
Sure. When Key went to Germany earlier this year, when she was visiting you, Max, parentheses, was she visiting you and how was the trip?
So she is asking me because she's saying you how your trip was. Oh, this is going to turn interesting. I
think she was asking us. I think she was asking you specifically. Did I go to Germany just to visit you? Which seems like a very obvious question.
When Key went to Germany earlier this year, was she visiting you? And how was the trip? Yes, she did visit me, and from what she told me, the trip was okay. The question was directed to me. I mean, she said you. So.
I mean, yes, I did go to visit. I mean, I stayed with you, so yeah. But it was fun. I mean, I want to go again because I really do I like the place of Germany because I could actually walk around to places unlike here where you had to drive everywhere. But and there were some cool things, like when we went to that karaoke. Oh my God, that karaoke bar. We need to go again. Next time I come over there, we need to go back to that karaoke bar.
Absolutely.
And the first song that we put into that playlist is Let It Go because, oh my God. Okay, so this karaoke bar, when we went in there, there was no one in there. There was like a couple people. And then it filled up immensely. Like we went in, we were able to get I think I had like 3 songs or something in, and you got like 2. But then we were like, let's do a song together, and we were gonna do Let It Go because why not? We were waiting there for like 35 minutes before we were like, we need to catch a train.
We already put it in, and then we were like, okay, it has been an hour. When is it coming? And then we waited for another half hour in the hope that it might come. But it was already 2 a.m., so we needed to get home.
Yeah, we needed to get to the train. But some of the people that we saw go up on that karaoke thing, there was like, for some reason, there was these people that only did Spanish songs. And then there was one person who did like Linkin Park or some kind of rap thing, and they were like, wow, like really good. Too good for a karaoke place.
Yeah.
And I think one of my favorites, though, was this lady doing Total Eclipse of the Heart. No, it wasn't the Total Eclipse of the Heart. It was this Asian girl doing Skyfall, and she tried hitting the high notes, and I just remember us cringing really hard, like every time she hit a high note.
And when even I cringe, and I have no good musical hearing, then it must be really bad.
You asked me if I was okay, because I was like turning my head away, and I was like, no, I'm trying to protect my eardrum. Oh, and remember Angel, the person that was on the dance floor the whole time?
Oh, the Angel. Oh, God, the Angel girl.
We called her
weird.
Angel because every dance move she did, she was
flapping
flapping her arms like a chicken.
Yeah. And calling her Angel was nicer than calling her chicken. But yeah, if nothing else, also you visiting me here gave me the final opportunity to test out a drawing tablet, which led to me buying one for myself a week after you left. So this is one thing that came out of it.
It was a beneficial trip. It was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. So okay, thank you for those good questions.
Yep. I found another question that has been asked by 2 people, so this is kind of like, we have to answer it now, because it was asked by Little Chips, and by Nightfall Gaming Streams. Favorite video game and why?
You start.
I start. Okay. Since it kind of changes frequently, like currently I have this game and then a week later it's this game. Let's see, I mean, you can basically always go to my Steam account and then check which games I sunk the most hours in, which answers is quite obviously. I mean, I believe I have still Defense Grid with 320 hours on top. Closely
and
followed.
Is up there too.
Quickly followed by Racketeer with close to 300 as well, and Space Pirates and Zombies. But many of those games were just time sinks. So those are games I can play forever, but it's not like, whoa, greatest game ever. Like, yeah, getting a goosebump when just thinking about it. So no, really, all-time favorite games that are not just time sinks. I believe Darkest Dungeon is also a little bit more of the time sink, and I'm just scrolling through.
I've heard you be frustrated by that game so much, and then you just keep playing it. I'm like, why do you like to hurt yourself?
It's a fantastic game. Darkest Dungeon is a fantastic game, but it also is like one you play for long. I'm still on my first session, and I'm at... Oh no, that's not true. I started a new session. But my first session that I have not finished was with 80 hours. And now I'm on a second session, which is probably now like 20 hours by now, because I'm on 120 hours for Darkest Dungeon on Steam. Because I just felt like I haven't played it in forever and I wanted to start new. Batman Arkham Asylum, I believe I played it. I have 80 hours on record for Batman Arkham Asylum.
That is a good game.
And this game doesn't take 80 hours. So this is like 4 playthroughs or something. So this game I played many times. Dishonored, similarly, it has also 70 hours on record, which is at least 2 playthroughs. Middle Earth, Shadow over Mordor, I'm currently replaying. Mark of the Ninja, absolutely fantastic. One I want to recommend, because the other ones are big names. The big names don't need a lot of explaining. Why is Dishonored fantastic? Because it's fantastic. It has great visuals, it has great effects, great controls, the story is fantastic, the atmosphere, same goes for Asylum. Mark of the Ninja. 2D side platformer. But you play as a ninja, but you have a ninja feel you barely ever have. You can basically go both routes, like slicing everybody, but you can also basically beat the entire game without killing anybody, except maybe the 2 or 3 boss characters. And even those are not killed in an epic one-on-one battle. Like, for example, what was it with a Deus Ex Human Revolution? There was like, you could play this game without killing anybody, but the boss fights still had to be fights, and at the end of the fight you would always kill the boss. In Shadow of the Ninja, there are no big boss battles. You actually still defeat them either with one nice slice, or you just drop something on them, or whatever. But yeah, you could play Mark of the Ninja without killing anybody. Complete stealthing it.
But Hun, you're forgetting the game that your most favorite game of all time. What's it called? Fallout Shelter?
Fallout Shelter. Fallout Shelter, it's okay. At least on mobile, but on Steam it's like it's not. I mean, I have to admit I played it with controller out of principle because it had controller support, and Fallout Shelter on PC with controller sucks as hell. It might be fine with mouse, but then again, the game concept, like a game you need to log in on a regular basis and click your resources and stuff, and the clock keeps ticking while you're not playing. This is not a game you play on PC. This is a mobile game by its mechanics. So, not happy about this.
I just remember all the time. When I was over there, like anytime that we were doing anything, I would look over at you and you're playing Fallout Shelter, and I'm like, do you ever not?
On the phone, yeah, on the phone it's fun, but then again, the enthusiasm already faded, so I'm not playing it anymore at the moment. All my people are probably dead by now. Oh no, this was Animal Crossing where they actually die. And just for fun fact, because I play it recently, I started playing it yesterday evening. For everybody who has not heard about it now, StarCraft, the original StarCraft, including the add-on Broad Wars, is on the official website of Blizzard, free for download. You can just download it. It's labeled as a patch, and you just click on either Windows or Mac, and you download a file. You click this file, and it completely installs the entire game completely legally on your computer, and it's working even on a modern Windows 10 computer and probably also on a Mac. So yeah, I started playing the good old StarCraft campaigns yesterday again.
Well, okay, so those are your favorites.
Yep, and I recall having played StarCraft the entire campaigns like 2 or 3 times as well in the 90s, so also a good game. Yeah. But yeah, I took the limelight long enough. It's your turn. Absolutely.
So my favorite games. I don't play a lot of video games anymore, but I do like video games. Most of my favorite games are on consoles. I would.
You people with your consoles. I mean, me as official member of the PC Gamer Master Race can just go like, but please continue and tell me about your consoles. Then again, I was a Nintendo child and I loved Secret of Mana. Secret of Mana was fantastic. And Terraria, oh god, Terraria was amazing. Sorry, you were saying?
You done? You were talking for like 15 minutes about your games. Shush. To the corner. But no, like my favorite games, Super Mario Sunshine on the GameCube. That was I think what are you doing?
Nothing. Please continue talking.
But Super Mario Sunshine was my first GameCube game, and I remember playing that. I like 100%ed it. I think like 3 times, and it was just a pleasant game. Simpsons Hit and Run, the PC version, Max, I swear to God.
Does this count as annoying?
You are just reveling in the fact that there's an ocean between us again.
Oh yes. Simpsons Hit and Run.
Yeah, but Simpsons Hit and Run on the PC, I know that it was a game that was on, I think, PS2 and GameCube as well, but I played the PC version back when you had to get the CDs and there were 2 discs because there was so much it couldn't fit on one CD. So I played that as a kid. A lot of licensed games were good. I actually played good licensed games. But currently the games that I like, Wind Waker. Wind Waker's an amazing game. To me, it's tied with Majora's Mask as my favorite Zelda game. Undertale, Stick of Truth, and Team Fortress 2 are my favorite games that I play, download on Steam kind of games. But my favorite games of all time have to be point-and-click adventures, so any Sierra game. Space Quest, King's Quest, Leisure Suit Larry, any of those games.
Huh.
I love
Leisure Suit Larry? Ooh,
I
you
love
naughty
the
girl. I know why you played it.
I love the Leisure Suit Larry franchise until they get to, the 3D games, and then it just decided to not be good. But I remember playing the 1996 remake when they changed it from the DOS format of typing to actual point and click, and that was a lot of fun. I really want to play those games again. I know they're on GOG, so I want to get them again. But yeah, those are my games. Not as very in depth as Max is over here, but I don't have a lot of time to play video games anymore. So
yeah, that's where sleep becomes a liability.
Exactly. So okay, I guess we can take one more question, 2 more questions.
I guess one more you may pick, and then we wrap it up for today.
Okay. Delph Alchemist 2 asks, what is your favorite song originating from a musical?
Ooh. You go first. I have to think about it.
I have to think about it too.
But you are all like in musicals, and you can just ramble down whatever you like, and this will give me enough time to consider an actual good song.
If I could pick a few songs, probably. I've been listening to a new musical called Dear Evan Hansen, and I love the soundtrack of that. And I usually listen to Waving Through a Window and Sincerely Me, 2 really good songs from that. Obviously, anything from the Hamilton soundtrack. My favorite songs from that is like their Act 1.
What a twist!
Their Act 1 finale song, Nonstop, and Room Where It Happens, which is sung by the guy who plays Aaron Burr. But one song that I've been listening to a lot that I've just suddenly, I can't stop listening to it. It's from this musical called Be More Chill, which is based off a science fiction book. And the song is called Michael in the Bathroom. And it's basically this guy having a panic attack in the bathroom at a party because his friend left him. And the guy sings so well. And he like goes from this very belty, like, and now I'm just, and then he goes Michael, and like he goes from super high to super soft, and it's really, really good. And the musical itself is a very strange concept for a musical, but it's a cool musical. So yeah, any of those songs are currently my favorites.
Well, I don't know. Do Disney videos count? Disney songs?
Yeah.
Basically.
I picked Broadway stuff. Movies also count. So
yeah, I guess. I mean, it's musical. Most old Disney movies are musicals, so there's a lot of great stuff. I love to sing along, like from Lion King or Aladdin with the genie and stuff. Prince Ali, prima vini, aliaba. Indeed. But yeah, I recall, I mean, I probably just go down nostalgia route, and because there was this one musical that, the musical that later turned into my moment of epiphany when I realized, holy crap, I'm a furry, furry, that's what it's called, a furry, indeed. And I love this musical, and there was also a character I loved in particular. So the greatest musician has something to learn from Mr. Mitoffele's conjury turn. And we all say, oh, well, I never was there ever a cat so clever as magical Mr. Mistopheles. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Oh, well, was there ever a cat? Sorry?
I still have never seen Cats in full.
I have it on DVD.
We need to fix that next time.
Yeah, I believe I have it on DVD. I know this much.
Oh God! I mean, like, I know. I guess this is a funny little anecdote to end on. When you mentioned DVDs, I remember the Gorillaz Live DVD you have and the Dare thing.
Horrible.
Would you care to explain this to the
So
people?
from the third, I believe it's the third Gorillaz album, or was it the second?
The Demon Days.
The Demon Days. I believe it was the second one, and all the other songs.
It's their second album.
Yeah. So from the second album, Demon Days, they also created they had a big concert with all the stars, with effects, with original animation going on and stuff like this. They had this concert and they recorded it for a DVD that I bought for money. And I don't even want to talk about the people who actually were there in the audience, who also paid money for the tickets. The majority was really fantastic, really great. Now, you guys probably all remember the song Dare because it was one of the featured songs. It was like you had this giant...
And the few songs where Noodles sings.
Yes, you have this giant real-life head in Noodles' room, and Noodles just dances around him. If you ever watched MTV, it was like... how does it go like?
You got to flex it on you. It seems like you do, baby.
Go for the chorus.
Put it down, Dare. And then the head is like, never get no high, never get no high.
Yeah.
It's Dare, that stuff.
And this the guy who was the head was also there live on stage. And I don't know on what drugs he was. He was horrible. He was off rhythm, off tone. Even so, he was doing talking singing. And he still managed to screw it up. The singer next to him, the girl who did the girl part of the movie, was always like looking over to him like, ha ha, I'm so glad to be on the stage with you, So yeah, this song, I don't want to say ruined, but the performance was really, really bad. And this is now...
when they did shots at the audience, you could see some of them were like, oh no.
Yes. And this was one of the featured songs from the album, and the live performance was an atrocity to watch. You can't say it differently.
I discovered something great because I looked up that live performance on YouTube afterwards. The guy has his glasses upside down.
Oh, how funny. Ha 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 ha.
No, like he's that bad.
Yes. Not sure if funny or simply on drugs. I don't know. But yeah, this basically wraps it up for today. We went over twice the length.
We had a question for the audience.
Oh.
We had to...
Yes.
We don't have a name for this podcast. We need them to help us.
Indeed. So this is the thing for you guys watching it over on YouTube. Please leave suggestions for the name of this podcast down in the comments below. The next episode will hopefully be next Thursday once again at... the same times, which were 1 p.m. Pacific?
1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and then 10
p.m. for the
European
people in
time.
in Central Europe. So yeah, hopefully there will be a second episode next week. So until then, we want to have a name for this podcast. So please leave your suggestions down here on YouTube in the comments below.
We suck at titles.
Sorry?
We suck at titles.
Yeah. So leave your ideas here. Also, if you once again, as I said before, if you have questions for us that you want us to answer on the show next time, you can either be here live in this chat, but you also can drop the questions off for us at any time during the week, just on Twitter by including the hashtag.
Any key questions?
Genau. Yeah, and I would say this is the end of the first episode. More to
I
come.
think it went well.
I would also say it went well. It went a little bit over time, like twice the planned time. But hey, we had a good time. Hopefully you guys as well. So this is ANY
And this is Keyframe.
saying see you soon.
Bye-bye.